Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Chill Time with Hope. I am the host, Hope, and I hope everyone is doing well. I just wanted to come on here, y'all, because I had been contemplating whether I was going to say something about the month of October or not. But I felt like, at the end of the day, there are no sides, right? It's not us versus them or them versus us. And though, admittedly, when it comes to breast cancer awareness, everything seems to be about them being breast cancer awareness and all the organizations that are out there doing amazing, fantastic jobs out there. I want to make sure that is said. But it can be hard. It can be difficult as an ovarian cancer, not just a survivor, a warrior, a thriver, but an advocate. Because there's just so much out there that is all about breast cancer awareness. The YMCA that I go to in Arlington, which is all about pink cancer ribbons, pink hearts, pink wings. Everything is pink. And they started doing that actually about a week before even October came. And I remember talking to a representative there at the YMCA that I go to and asking, what about gynecological cancers? It's not even October and we're already starting to see the pink for breast cancer awareness. And she said, that's a really good question because in all the time that I've been here, we've never done anything for any other cancer pretty much other than breast cancer. She said, in fact, our employees do the Walk for a Cure for Susan G. Komen, and that's all she's ever participated in. It's twofold. Let's be honest, it's twofold. That is wonderful. That is awesome that the YMCA is doing that, right? Where they encourage their employees to go and participate in the Susan G. Komen Walk for a Cure for breast cancer awareness. Because we all should be doing that. We all should be walking for a cure. We should all be hoping for a cure. While at the same time, on the other hand, it's like, but there are other cancers out there. And I remember way back when I went to a conference, the first conference I went to for the Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance in DC, there was a shirt that I bought that said, not all cancers are pink. And I remember wearing that shirt into the VA when I was getting a checkup. And a woman came up to me and she said, I really like your shirt. Where did you get that? And I don't know which cancer that she may have been going through, or maybe someone she loved was going through. But as an ovarian cancer survivor, I was just like, yeah, I got it when I went to a conference in DC. And I agree, because we both were all pretty much in agreement that, it's wonderful that breast cancer awareness has gotten as far as it has through the years. Because a little thing known about me, and not quite sure yet if I've shared that, I'd have to go back to previous episodes, but my grandmother got breast cancer. She was in her maybe mid 50s to late 50s when it was diagnosed. And I don't know much about that, nor do I know much about her because she died around 2 months after I was born. So I never got to know her because the insidious disease that is cancer, in her particular case, breast cancer, she died. And it was a horrible, horrible experience from what my mother told me. This was in the 1970. She died in 1971, early 1971. Things were a lot different. That was 50 years ago, 54 years ago to be exact. The chemotherapy was different. The radiation was different. My mom said that her mother had burn marks from the radiation. I can't even fathom that. Not just because the cancer I went through didn't require radiation, but simply because 54 years ago, everything was different, right? And they've come a long, 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 long way since then. Along with that has been the breast cancer awareness. There is breast cancer awareness all over the world. I was in Saudi Arabia. They had all kinds of things at the malls that I went to that were all about breast cancer awareness. Pink was seen everywhere. They even had these big buses that would come and offer free mammograms. And that is, y'all, beyond amazing. That is needed. Here's the thing. I am not naive to know that the prevalence of breast cancer as opposed to ovarian cancer and many of the other cancers that are out there is way, way, way higher. And that's why we need to continue to talk about breast cancer. We need to talk about the things that women should be doing, and men, of course, and men, because men can get breast cancer as well, that they can be doing to try and, find it sooner rather than later with breast checkups. You can do home breast checkups and you can do the mammograms and things of that nature. to detect it. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm not any of those things. I mean, I wouldn't be talking about it right now on this episode if I didn't say, hey, it is important to acknowledge that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month and that breast cancer awareness is, to this day, still so important because there is no cure. That being said, it is frustrating that it seems to take precedence over every other cancer. I feel like breast cancer supersedes every other cancer out there. I think second to maybe pancreas cancer, testicular cancer. And testicular cancer didn't even get well known until Lance, what was that, Tour de France winner? Lance Armstrong, that's his name. Until Lance Armstrong started spreading his awareness. If y'all remember back in the early 2000s, they had those yellow bands, the wristbands that were yellow. I actually bought some. I bought some for me and my friends, and people were like, why are you wearing a testicular awareness band? But why not? Awareness is awareness. Hashtag sharing is caring, right? It was almost trendy back then, which is sad because it shouldn't be trendy per se, but it got the job done. People started to learn about testicular cancer from Lance Armstrong. When he started the Armstrong Foundation, now granted, he ended up being a liar when it came to using certain drugs to help enhance his performance. That's unfortunate. But at the same time, he did start the Armstrong Foundation, and from what I read, they have done and maybe I think continue to do good things with cancer awareness. But then there became the pancreatic cancer that Steve Jobs died from, right? That brought a lot of awareness. But nothing can compare to breast cancer awareness. And so I'm sharing this because it's important to say, hey, look, October is breast cancer awareness. But I'm also sharing this because we want to be up there. Every cancer should be getting the, not limelight, okay? I'm not saying they get in the limelight, but they should be getting the same kind of attention. And people might argue and say, well, people that get ovarian cancer don't die at the rate of people that get breast cancer, or people that get fallopian tube cancer, or cervical cancer, or uterus cancer, or kidney cancer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They don't have the prevalence as much as breast cancer. They don't have as many people getting it. They don't have as many people dying from it. And to that, I say you are absolutely correct. However, and this is a big however, is not that cancer outside of breast cancer just as important as breast cancer? Are those lives not just as important as those lives of breast cancer? And the answer, of course, would be undoubtedly yes, because everybody that goes through cancer matters and their lives matter, right? I mean, one is too much. And sure, you might say, the X amount of people that die from breast cancer is just totally more than those from, say, fallopian tube cancer. Again, that's completely true, but their lives matter just as much as those from breast cancer. And we all, I think, can agree with that. And that's why from the beginning of this episode, it's like, it's not about them versus us or us versus them. I personally think that we all should come together, and there shouldn't be a breast cancer awareness month or an ovarian cancer awareness month or brain cancer awareness month. There should just be cancer awareness, period. That's just me. And I get it. People might say, well, we have these specific colors and these specific months to pay homage and respect and awareness to the plight of those specific cancers. And they deserve a month of their own. I can concede and say, I guess that's true. Well, at the same time, I'm like, we just simply, if you're not a breast cancer survivor, warrior, thriver, the advocacy, the awareness is just not there. And ladies and gentlemen, and y'all, I've seen this. 14 years almost, I have been in this journey. And I started the advocacy in this journey in 2012. 13 years. And here we are. And I still run into so many people that do not know what this disease is about. It's not breast cancer. It's not the organization. It's not Susan G. Komen's fault. It's not any of the organizations that are about breast cancer awareness. It's not their fault. It's nobody's fault per se. Or if it is anybody's fault, it's just the fact that unfortunately not enough people are listening. Not enough women are paying attention. And here's the rub. It's not like we can just feel on our ovaries, like go down on our lower abdomen and go, oh, I feel a lump. It's not like breast cancer. We don't have a detection. in place. We can have the CA-125, which is the blood work that can maybe say that your CA-125 levels, your blood tumor markers are a little high, but that's not 100% accurate. So we can't call that a screening. We cannot call that like anything close to a mammogram. Furthermore, we have the pelvic. You can do a pelvic exam, right? And you can have an ultrasound exam. Again, none of them are 100% where we can call it a screening, again, like mammogram. So we're at a place where really it's about word of mouth. It's about letting people know what this disease is about, what the symptoms are about. And hopefully we can get somewhere close to what breast cancer awareness has been doing over the last, half a century. I mean, if you do a simple Google search about breast cancer, they'll tell you, since my grandmother was diagnosed, I think either in the late 60s or right at 1970. A quick AI overview would say, over the last 50 years, breast cancer awareness has fundamentally changed the public perception of the disease, resulting in a dramatic reduction in mortality rates through improved early detection and treatment. Before the rise of awareness campaigns, breast cancer was often stigmatized and discussed in private, but activism transformed it into a public health priority. Dramatic decline in mortality rates. The most significant impact has been the reduction in death from breast cancer. 44% decline. The death rate among U.S. women dropped from 44% from 1989 to 2022, averting 500,000 deaths because of the awareness. Early detection and treatment. This decline is largely attributed to earlier detection through screening and advances in treatment. Research estimates that about 1/4 of the overall decrease in deaths is due to screening, while improved treatments account for the other 3/4. In the screening, the biggest one of all is mammograms, but also the public awareness and reduced stigma. And then the pink ribbon. Everybody, you can be somewhere in Africa and know that the pink ribbon is about breast cancer awareness and open discussion. So the early detection gives survival. And of course, there's research and funding. These are the things that us in the ovarian cancer awareness sphere are hoping for. That one day we can say, you know what, we have declined the deaths of ovarian cancer. We have done all that we can and will continue to do to decrease the amount of women that are diagnosed at late stages, and lives are being saved. But that hasn't happened yet, y'all. Have we made a dent? Obviously, yes. But the dent is so small. We need a bigger dent. We need bigger and bigger and bigger amounts of dents. Think of a car. Like it just barely had a dent from maybe hail coming down. We need those big, so big hail that is like the size of a baseball to come down and make huge, huge dents. And in this context, not that needs to be repaired, but that's a good thing. It's a great thing. I don't know if we'll ever get to where breast cancer awareness has come, how far they've come since my grandmother died in 1971. It doesn't mean I can't hope. It doesn't mean I can't pray. It doesn't mean that I can't wish that one day we'll get to that place. And though our numbers compared to breast cancer numbers are nowhere close, because the prevalency isn't as big as breast cancer around the world, it doesn't mean that our numbers aren't huge when you think about it, especially if you talk to those who have lost a loved one to this insidious disease that is ovarian cancer. But at the end of the day, all cancers need to have their moment. All cancers deserve to be spoken about, whether they be breast cancer, gynecological cancers, kidney cancers, prostate cancer, brain cancer, all of them. There's so many cancers. Bone cancer, blood cancer, y'all. They all need to have light shed on them, no matter how small they are, because one death is too much to cancer. And I think we can all come together and agree on that. So, yes, Breast Cancer Awareness Month is October, and I pay my respects to those that continued with their advocacy and the survivors and the warriors and the thrivers that have come through the journey of breast cancer. They deserve to be seen and heard and acknowledged. The same token, in my opinion, my humble opinion, so does all cancers. All cancers deserve to be seen and heard and acknowledged. And that's what this little episode is about. So thank you. That's all I'm going to say for now. And I look forward to finding some more women to share their stories about their journeys through ovarian cancer in the future. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for checking in, making sure that you rate, review, and subscribe, aka follow, and make sure you check that little bell for notifications so you know when the next episode comes to be. So yes, I guess that's all I got for y'all on this one. This has been Till Time with Hope. I am the host, Hope, and until next time, I wish you the best and stay safe, be well. God bless. Talk soon.